Yodofo, I was some case your partner to NPP fool. I was some case with the Efi Hinfa. Ubeka say NPP CCN and chef from their banner say, Upesa will stand as flag bearer of the new patriotic party. I will say, would you have 4 million a year development fund? Yes, 4 million Ghana City development fund. Just say, what do you call TTC anymore? What the number 40 billion Ghana cities? Where the annual shoe? Yes, a year NPP for more understanding flag bearership race. No, Dr. Mahmoud Bame, Kennedy, Japan, and your mama account in Ano. Yes, you have 4 million development fund. And NPP ni Cassia Pan, I am Michael Kwaba wants to say, na NPP cry party, then a cost party. A see then a preocupa monkwa. Just a monk buy and penny for and see I'm buy a party ni more bet na swa. Body mra eba party ni no monkwamo buyer. Most of preocupa ni pen to 4 million Ghana cedis as development fund. We if you say na mean a free fund a buyer. Just as secretary dear we into say what stand as flag bearership race na say when we near not just a preocupa 40 billion Ghana cedis no and 4 million Ghana cedis no. I clear for your account just within a twinkle of an eye. Just say manama way there. Just say a serious suicidal. Your friend is suicidal. Or for I never make count. A Professor Michael Kwe on our babontia. Or says I secretary deal we are. NPP 4 year more mutually dear. A serious or clear suicidal to know. Tinton time or mutual sort of 4 when they are a wholesome case here to NPP 4 I'm speaking in our bro. Our Ghanatube. Michael, they are going to answer when you and Chim. Our Ghanatube is here.
Thank you for this. Let's still say a bit further on this, the flag bearership race for the NPP, maybe beyond the balloting that took place earlier today. There's another issue. Prior to today, was a conversation about the 4 million development fee and whether or not persons who had not paid that would be allowed to go through. Yes, what did we see today? Governor J. Japan, there's no clear indication whether he is paid or not. But prior to today, at least, yesterday, a member of his campaign team did indicate that he had not fulfilled that requirement or the payment of that 4 million development fee. That's coming up next because former Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, has stated that the exorbitant fee being demanded from the intended flag bearers of the NPP is a suicidal pathway and must be avoided. Now, a stalwart of the party is saying that election was not or is not an auction and the political party could not be for sale. Here are excerpts of what he said, which was published earlier today by Graphic Online, and it says, quote, "Monocracy is not democracy, and the political party must not be seen to be pursuing that pathway." That's Professor Michael Quay. Of our first flag bearer, Professor Albert Dubois, whose national campaign team I was a part of, was not elected with any monetary consideration or qualification whatsoever. This has followed through reasonable nomination filing fees over the years. It will become a jingoistic malperformance of he who pays the piper calls the tune. There is a need to give the party reasonable and considerable autonomy and not drive it into the hands of deep-pocketed men and women. It is not any money that can be accepted, even if offered. Due diligence is important to ensure sanity and sanctity in the body politics. And also we saw a man from abroad who came and bought his way to Parliament and disgraced us when he was arrested, tried and jailed in the USA for cocaine. I'm sure for those who are please up to the political history of this country, you'll remember the man is talking about, Eric Amoateng. He references this as the basis for the argument that he makes. He says it's going to be suicidal for the NPP to go on this path, and that's going to hurt the sanctity and also the sanity of our democracy. I don't know if it's one that you agree with, the position that the Venerable Professor Aaron Michael Quay has espoused on this matter of the development fee that we just read.
Well, I couldn't agree more with the Venerable Professor. But the question that comes to mind is, what did his report say about monetization within the party itself, internal politics of the party itself? Because we do not have access to that particular report. And I'm very much clear in my mind that this particular issue might have read its ugly head in the report. And that's the more reason why he is taking, a stance against this particular monetization.
The monetization?
Yes.
You think it was part of the report? You're just assuming?
I should think so, because you see, whenever money is used in a manner that is detrimental, right, to the development of humanity, definitely people are going to complain about that. And of course, you are virtually creating a situation where so many other qualified members of the party will not have the opportunity to continue to stand, right? To stand and contest for positions that they so desire. Now, my position is that, look, this particular development fee that we are talking about, apart from the fact that it can only propel you, but if they use that to disqualify, that you've not been able to raise this development fund, therefore you're not a viable candidate, they're going to create a serious problem for the party.
Well, that was not the official position of the party at the least. But then again, the Deputy General Secretary indicated that there were guidelines that the various flag bearer hopefuls were supposed to meet. And at least 2 out of the 5 hopefuls did indicate that they were demanded to pay the 5 million. As to whether it was going to be a prerequisite for contesting or not is what was not really clear. But then again, Kwabena Japong, as of yesterday, hadn't paid, but he took part in the ballot. So what's the position?
So the point is that it will be very suicidal on the part of the party to go on that tangent, because I think it is not in any way a qualification for one to contest or otherwise. But if that's why I said that probably it puts you in a particular pedestal as far as the party is concerned, in terms of how you propel yourself, how you appeal yourself to the members of the party, the delegates, and so on and so forth. So it's like it gives you a particular clout within the party. But I will want to believe that that is not a precondition for qualification or otherwise. Because if it is, then definitely you're going to create a particular monster for themselves, of which they will not be able to clear. Right? So that is the more reason why the venerable professor, right, is complaining, in a very sophisticated manner. Right? He's not coming out plainly, but he's virtually making everybody appreciate the fact that, look, the path that the NPP is going is not the right path. And that is the more reason why he used these, sophisticated ideas.
Right. Because if you read what he said in that interview with the Graphic, it's quite clear about the danger of monocracy and its impact on our democracy. And the fact that, yes, it goes down to history. Says Professor Dubois, the first flag bearer of the party, that's the NPP, he was a member of the campaign team of Professor Dubois. And he was not elected with any monetary consideration. But then you are a political analyst. You make the strong argument. Times have changed. I mean, there's a lot that has become of our body politics, where delegates see this process and these moments as their cash moment, the cocoa season. So they'll make demands. And flag bearer hopefuls will have no choice than to as it were, meet these demands, or you lose out, no matter how bright your ideas are. So that's the reality of our current situation that you cannot run away from, is it not?
Fred, the point is that probably the party, the mother party itself, from the central point of view, has not come out to explain what goes into the 4 million. Because I have said that, look, you need to put structures in place to ensure that whatever you take from the presidential hopefuls will be those that will be used to offset the cost that these delegates are going to bear.
Right.
And the party is supposed to do it in such a manner that any presidential hopeful that goes beyond that particular tangent to do the unthinkable could be disqualified. So we want to see or think that the 4 million is aimed at something of that sort. Their travel allowance, probably their per diem, their accommodation, right? So they will take away that idea of a presidential candidate or hopeful doing so on his own, right, without recourse to the party. That in a way will reduce corruption at that particular level. And it will suggest, I don't know, because these guidelines haven't come out. Because the party is supposed to come out to say that any presidential candidate that is seen, right, doing A, B, C, and D without recourse to the party will be disqualified. That in itself is a Herculean task, but if they're able to do so, that will mean that they are cracking the whip and the discipline, right? They're bringing discipline within the party. That is why I'm of the view that the party could have told, right, the generality of the public that this 4 million development fund is to ensure that all delegates coming from all parts of the country, wherever they are going to centralize, right, to do the voting, it is going to take part of A, B, C, and D. Or if the party doesn't have the wherewithal to take upon itself the cost, right, or bearing the cost of the organization of this particular election, probably that is why they're asking them to pay the 4 million.
Oh, so you want more details about what the development fee is for? Certainly. And why 4 million cedis? Because this comes on the back of some of the aspirants saying at some point they had to give the party money.
Yes.
In the early part of the year, party to run the affairs of the party. You heard Kenneth Japan say that at some point, and there's also saying Dr. Mahmoud Bamiyan made some donations as well. So it's about development. In fact, you have some elements within the party say, look, if you can't pay this, then go, because you must show your mettle to be able to raise funds as a flag bearer of the party going into an election.
Yeah, any presidential, candidate worth a salt should be in a position to be very resourceful, especially contesting a ticket of the NDC or the NPP. You must be resourceful. You must be networked, right? So that obviously people who believe in your vision and mission, right, will want to fund you. And that is the only way to go. But if you cannot attract these kinds of funding, then definitely you do not in any way qualify to be a flag bearer of any of these two major parties. I hear some people say that, oh, Gen Zs, it is their period and whatever and whatnot. Look, you must live a life worthy of emulation. You must be seen, manifestly seen, to have lived a certain life. You must be manifestly seen to have influenced the life of people, right? In terms of employment, in terms of investment, in terms of manufacturing, industries, and all those things. Because you just cannot tell us that just because you have brilliant ideas, you want to become president. Because people must buy into those ideas, be resourceful enough, be networked so that people can fund that.
In a minute, do you share the fear that Professor Aaron Maikokwe has, that he says there's a need to give the party reasonable and considerable autonomy and not drive it into the hands of deep-pocketed men and women, which will then result in the not preferred candidate being elected, but how much the person can give?
Certainly, I mean, that is the ideal.
Out of 4 when I was a man to NPP 4 years seen. Unim say before I'll be a flag bearer for the new patriotic party no utuya yesi flag bearership fee of 4 million Ghana cedis. And a Professor Michael Kwe, a member of NPP no, or ye peniti trupan. Just say omofa adwen wo party ni mu no waba bonti no se saa sika no mo de gene die eye clear suicidal. Just say odwen ho onti ase or say the first flag bearer of NPP just say time na ono time so many years ago the first flag bearer of NPP no ono no ka sani pan no campaign team no na when sika bia na see then na so many years along the line no preoccupy sika twitwi die 4 million Ghana cedis na dia to flag bearers for nyina to say a fees a obi anche no so no sa idea ne dey on top and I say he doesn't buy into that idea on support sa dey ka sa 4 million Ghana cedis ne dey ato mu so mu tua ne dey on support ka do for we and ya reho say ma efi NPP akachi a che so mu panyin pa Michael Kwe wa ba bontin a wapro edi egu social media no so am subiji nyina bro e Ghanatube for mamu mfi se mobile like no ma subscribe no ma share no ma hit notification bell so ma send be ya abini abibia do pe content say ya wo we ja netempa no ahwe mutem do for aha ana me de nsem nyina bi si Ghanatube so makra mu nyina medamu nyina se bebre